10, 9, 8. Good evening. The Rio Rancho Public Schools Board of Education meeting for Monday, February 23rd, 2026 is now called to order. If all would please arise for the Pledge of Allegiance, Board Member Michael Berry will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Claudia, will you take a roll call for us, please?
President Galbraith,
Present.
Vice President Mueller,
Present.
Secretary Miller, Board Member Berry,
Present.
Board Member Murray.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'd like to excuse Board Secretary Miller and wish her well. We'd like to welcome everyone into our boardroom. Those who are streaming in probably cannot see quite what it looks like in here today, but we have so many students and members from the community and parents and teachers, and it is wonderful to look out and see. So welcome to everyone that's here. Tonight's meeting will start with some introductory comments by our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Visu Cleveland.
Good evening. So we have no video again?
Oh, up here. Yes. Dr. Cleveland, do we have her?
All right, we're good.
I don't know if I have her notes though. Can her slides? Do you want to send them? If you send me her slides, I can put them up on my computer. Okay.
You know, technology is absolutely wonderful when it works. And when it doesn't, it's a challenge. But thank you for being patient with us.
Did you send? Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Trying to make it big. Okay. Oops. That's fine. I think we're good. Do you want to just,
Okay.
you can scroll, or I can just push them here if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Now, prior to the meeting this evening, there was a board workshop session, and the topic of that discussion was a new pre-K at Puesta del Sol Elementary. And the one entire wing of that building is being reconverted to serve children of pre-K age 4-year-olds. The individuals who spoke on the status of this project this evening was Janice Chanel, our Elementary School Improvement Officer, Dana Petro, who is the principal of Puesta del Sol Elementary, Patrick Martinez, our Executive Director for Facilities, Brittany Griffith, our Pre-K Assistant Principal, and Felix Griego, Executive Director of Student Nutrition, and Jerry Reeder, who is our Executive Director of Special Services. The topic that was discussed in this meeting, this is a major project. It will add a good number of pre-K spots for children in the community of Rio Rancho. The board was given a history of the project, kind of how we got to the point we're at right now. It's the status of the project and what were the timelines that things will happen so that we can open next fall. Students who will be served at Puesta del Sol, focusing first on the Puesta del Sol community itself, and then opening it to others in the neighboring schools, primarily in the south end of the district. And then building and renovation updates, what classrooms are going to look like in terms of size and what will be the amenities there. One of the areas that people have asked a lot of questions about is where we have a beautiful playground that we have at Shining Stars, and what that would look like and what will happen to the existing playground. And then taking a little bit of time to talk about staffing and other considerations for the pre-K program. We have some commendations this evening. One of the first commendations is the St. Felix Pantry here in Rio Rancho. Michelle Havel, our Executive Director of Student Services, and Mariah Affentranger, who is our Director of Counseling, will be presenting the commendations. As many of you know, the St. Felix Pantry has provided services to children and many of our families for many years in this community, and it's a privilege to recognize their many contributions this evening. Thank you. We have another commendation this evening from the United Way of North Central New Mexico. We are welcoming Ted Journey, who is the Corporate Relations Officer, and Jeanette Brawl, the Alice State Director, and they will be here this evening. I would want, hopefully, Ms. Brawl can explain a little bit about the project, the Alice Project, and describe the population that it serves and some of the things that are going on in New Mexico. This is a national project, and it's a very exciting project. Rio Rancho Public Schools has a really long history of supporting the United Way. We have always believed that the needs are very great. Mr. Journey came on several occasions and shared with the board some of the specifics about the needs that exist in this community and how they are being served by the United Way. Many of our companies here have United Way campaigns, and we have always had one in the district. The person that does the heavy lifting for our campaign is Claudia Valdez, and she does a wonderful job with that and has for many, many years. And we have always been proud to be part of that effort. As I said, the needs always exceed the resources in the community. And just on a historic note, Mrs. Brawl was, she was in this district when we first started, early in the district's history, and she was a teacher at Rio Rancho High School, and she helped us with our earliest efforts at career placement and some other things. And we enjoyed having her the years that she was part of our school district, and we've never forgotten the contributions that she has made. We have other commendations. We have some additional ones from the New Mexico Music Educators Association, All-State, and recognitions related to that. And if you have a child that's in music, you are probably very familiar with All-State, but it's a statewide conference, and it meets at the University of New Mexico, and students are selected from throughout the state to be able to participate in All-State. And many, 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 many years ago, I was honored to be at All-State, but we will talk about the students who qualified to participate this year, and we will also discuss the NMEA Jazz All-State recognition, as well as the New Mexico ADA Youth All-State event. And of course, Dr. Kurt Schmidt will be the one to share some information about that. But we want to congratulate all of our Rio Rancho Public Schools music students who represented their schools and represented this district in such an admirable way. We have another presentation this evening. It is time for the audit report. Audits, of course, are involved in examining the records and assessing how we're doing on all of those standards and criteria, and verifying to the board what things are being done. And if there are areas that we need to work on to get better, then those are addressed as part of the audit. But audit is a very important function. We have a committee of the board that oversees the audit, and the audit is conducted by an outside firm, and then it has to go to the state auditor's office, and they review it one more time. And after, they look at it, and they send it back, and then it can be presented to the remainder of the board and to the community. So we will have that report this evening. The presenter will be Dahlia Garcia with Beasley Mitchell and Company. They are CPAs, and they will be the ones presenting the audit findings for the 2025 school year. This firm has been meeting regularly with the Rio Rancho Public Schools Audit Committee. And after the audit committee, as I said, it has gone to the state auditor and then sent back. I would like to really thank the firm and also all the members of our Rio Rancho Public Schools finance team, led by Heather Gabaldon, our interim director for finance, and for just the amount of time and effort and work that they put into having a thorough and a cooperative effort with the audit company. And then some of the topics that will be presented this evening for the board will be the audit timelines, the opinions that come as part of the opinions on the financial statement and budgets, the single audit for federal awards. So they also look at our federal dollars. And then if there's any repeated findings from the previous year, they will note if those were not corrected. And then they will talk about internal controls over our capital assets. We will have a presentation this evening by Suzanne Nguyen, and she will be presenting for the areas that she supervises. And that will be she has a long title, Federal, Bilingual, and Native American Programs. And she is the executive director for that department. And she will share with the board what the staffing looks like for that department, what are the priorities and functions of the department, the strategic support and the community engagement. This department is really strong in the area of community involvement and community support. I'll be sharing some of that with the board this evening. Our English language development program, and as you may have seen on the previous slide, we have 23 languages spoken in the Rio Rancho Public School District. And so we have a very diverse student population. And then language access and compliance. Our Native American programs are, we have some wonderful programs in this district. We're very proud of our Native American students and their achievements. And then some of the special programs and events that they sponsor. And if you've not ever had a chance to attend one of the powwows, that might be something that you would enjoy attending because it's a very special event. Our next departmental report will be for school communications, and it covers a lot of different areas. And the person that will be presenting that is Wyndham Kimsley. And so he will be sharing several things with the board this evening. And he'll be discussing really how that department really supports student success in this district, and how it also keeps parents and others in the community informed about what's going on in the Rio Rancho Public School District. And so some of the topics that he will be addressing is managing various stakeholder groups across the district, facilitating media and public relations, managing emergency communications. When you get that snow day call, well, that's coming out of his office. And maintaining and promoting brand and digital assets and protecting and promoting digital assets. I can't speak tonight. Assets for the district. This report will also include information about some of the department's school and community projects, as well as the coordination and execution of many of our special community events. The purpose of these events is to connect our school and community, as well as to share the story of many good things that are happening within the district for students and for staff and for our families. Our primary business item this evening will be the school calendar for the next school year. Each year, a school calendar committee is formed, and every school in the district is represented, and every department has representation. And the director, Peggy Johnston from Human Resources, is the one that chairs the committee, and she will describe for the board the process, followed by what the committee is recommending for next year's school calendar. And if there are any other questions, comments, or concerns, and next time I'll bring my other glasses so I can read it better. But thank you all.
Claudia, you are much better at pushing slides than I am.
These are my distance, so I can see you all really well. Up close was a little bit of a
Oh, a little bit rough. We'll now go to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations. If I can get a motion.
This is Board Member Mueller. I motion to approve the agenda and the time allocations.
Board Member Murray, second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0. So we'd now like to invite up Dr. Kurt Schmidt, our Executive Director of Fine Arts, to introduce all of these wonderful students that we have up here and the performance we're about to watch.
President Galbraith, President Galbraith, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland. I'm very excited to introduce Mariachi Club from Mountain View Middle School and the director, Mr. Adrian Baca. This is a first attempt, I believe, in the district at a mariachi group. We're so excited for their inaugural performance, I believe. I don't think you've performed anyplace else, have you? Okay, you have? No, this is it. This is it. So I'd like to introduce the Mariachi Club, known as Mariachi Las Pumas.
Before you guys step down, let's have you turn because I think all these parents want to get a really nice picture of their students. And we can. You're able to get it?
President Galbraith, I would like Mr. Adrian Baca to say a few words if that's
Please,
okay with you.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm super proud of these kids. Most of them, this is our first time ever experiencing any type of like music with mariachi. All of them are band, orchestra, and choir students at Mountain View Middle School. And throughout the year, we started in like towards the end of September, meeting 2 times a week, just learning the culture of mariachi music, the style, and how it's different than how we play in band and orchestra and choir. And I'm amazed at how awesome they did today. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Just on behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming in. We're so grateful. This was beautiful to see. I know I could see some of you were a little nervous about singing and all of those things. You all did such a wonderful job. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mr. Baca, for being willing to do this in the schools, because I love when it's part of our culture. Like, this is New Mexico, right? We get to see these things. And so I'm so grateful that you get to experience it. I want to give Dr. Cleveland a moment if she'd like to.
Well, again, thank you so much. And it was so enjoyable. What a wonderful way to start our board meeting this evening. So thank each and every one of you for coming out this evening. And we thank the parents who are here as well to support their musicians. But thank you for coming. We're glad you can.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, parents, feel free if you need to go. I don't want to hold you in. You're good. We might lock the doors. No, I'm just kidding. All right, and we'll now go into our commendations. So our first is St. Felix Pantry. We have Michelle Havel, our Executive Director of Student Services, and Mariah Effenchanger, our Director of Counseling.
Come on up, guys. Good evening, President Galbraith, members of the board, and Dr. Cleveland. I'm Shelley Havel, the Executive Director of Student Services, and I'm accompanied here by Mariah Affentranger, our Director of Counseling, as well as one of our amazing middle school counselors, Sarah Martinez from Mountain View Middle School. And tonight we are proud to recognize St. Felix Pantry for their extraordinary partnership and unwavering support of Rio Rancho Public Schools. Nearly a year ago, Tim Sheehan, President and CEO of St. Felix, approached us with one simple question: how can we help? Tim asked our department to identify the schools that did not have the support of a local organization to support their students in those schools who are experiencing food insecurity. Since that time, Tim and his incredible team, including Lisa Lane and Peggy Barr, and the rest of their amazing team at St. Felix, have stepped in to support our schools without active snack pack backpack programs, ensuring that any students who are identified go home on Fridays with the nutritious food that they need for those weekends. Since the beginning of the school year, St. Felix has delivered snack packs each week or every other week to the following sites: Cleveland High School, Mountain View Middle School, Rio Rancho High School, Sandia Vista Elementary, as well as our Desert Pathways programs and our Student Support Center.
Mountain View.
Oh gosh, that's because I'm reading too fast. We have her in the flesh, you know, we're going to brag on them even more. St. Felix has demonstrated compassion, reliability, and a deep commitment to our students and families. We are profoundly grateful for their dedication and partnership in caring for the children of RRPS. Their generosity is making a meaningful difference in the lives of our school community. We would like to present them with a certificate of recognition on behalf of our department after a few words from Sarah Martinez from Mountain View Middle School.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that, I know I'm tiptoeing. I want to say that our students are so excited. On Fridays is when we have them pick up their bags, and they're always like ready to come and get their bags. And then I will add that some of them have come during the school week. We have sometimes extra snacks. And so what middle schooler wouldn't want a snack during the day? So we often have them come in and sometimes prepare like mac and cheese, and sometimes they didn't like the lunch so much or they wanted more. And so I just feel like for those students who aren't used to having extra food at school, I feel like that makes their day special. So thank you so much. And they're always on time. Even before we get there, our food is there. So thank you so much.
Get a picture up here.
I want to say a couple of words real quickly. President and Vice President and Superintendent Cleveland, first of all, congratulations on your retirement coming up. Anyway, I just want to say it's a pleasure to serve you guys. It's a pleasure to serve your students. That's what we're all about, serving this community. And I think what we've also got out of this, not just the students, but we've found out that there's families out there that you have that need our services too. So they're getting the services at the same time. So they're able to come pick up the family pack, if you want to call it that, during the week. So but thank you again. And we're always here to serve you guys.
Thank you. As you're coming up here, I know Dr. Cleveland's going to want to say something.
Well, I wanted to come on. You can come up here. We'll get a photo. But I do want to emphasize what I said earlier. St. Felix Pantry has over the years been a wonderful support for this community and for some of our most vulnerable kids and families, and has stepped up anytime we've asked for help. I can't remember a time when that help was not forthcoming. And so we appreciate it, and we appreciate the great job you do. And just thank you for making this a better place for children to live and to learn. So we have really, as I said, it's a privilege to be able to recognize and honor you this evening.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Come on up.
Come up and I'd like to get a picture.
Should we come down?
You'll get in it too.
Wyndham, is it weird? Should we come down, or are we okay?
It's up to you.
I think they
It's kind of the format we do, so it's okay.
Okay.
got to get in a little bit further.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Our next commendation is United Way. You can come on up. We have Ted Journey, the Corporate Relations Officer, along with Jeanette Brawl, our Alice State Director.
Great. Thank you very much, President Galbraith, Superintendent Cleveland, and members of the board. Again, my name is Ted Journey, and I work for United Way of North Central New Mexico. I'm here with my colleague, Jeanette Brawl, and we are here to express our gratitude and thanks to you, Dr. Cleveland, for your years and years of support for our efforts within the community, both as a volunteer to our organization, as a donor, and as the leader of a very, very, very successful workplace campaign here in Rio Rancho. Your leadership has had incredible impact both on our organization, but more importantly, on the community here in Rio Rancho and beyond. So we come bearing gifts with us tonight, and spoiler alert, it is not a pony in this bag, I'm sad to say.
Oh, I'm really glad.
I know, and you probably don't, well, okay, good, yeah, right. But there is a nice mug and some nice tea, and more importantly, a planner that you can use to map out the new adventures in the new chapter that I know are coming your way as your retirement unfolds. So thank you very much. Jeanette Brawl would also like to say a word or two. So please, Jeanette.
Thank you. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, President Galbraith and members of the board and Dr. Cleveland. It's so wonderful to be here to express our appreciation for this community and all the employees, parents, and others who are involved in making lives richer. I am very proud to say I served at Rio Rancho schools for 10 years. I am the proud mother of 3 Rio Rancho High School graduates, and my daughter is the school nurse at Rio Rancho High. So strong connection with this wonderful community. I remember when I started at Rio Rancho in 1995, one of the earliest things we did was a little silent auction campaign for United Way. And I was so pleased to know that I was working for a caring entity that walked the walk and always has. And your leadership, Dr. Cleveland, is key to that. So we give you our thanks. I will tell you just a moment about ALICE because I don't want to go on and on. ALICE is an acronym for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. We know that 17% of New Mexicans live at the federal poverty level. So they live below the federal poverty level, which is about $32,000 a year earnings for a family of 4. But above that is a whole segment of folks who meet this ALICE designation. And what that describes is families who are employed, but their employment does not allow them to keep up with basic needs. 46% of New Mexico are either ALICE or in poverty. Half of us struggle. So ALICE families make decisions like, do I pay a utility bill or get the prescription I need? Do we get a tire for the car or some other need? And these constant worries are a real hardship to so many households. United Ways and our partners across the state are working to imagine new collaborations and efforts that we can do to alleviate some of that. Our 211 helpline is one immediate way that United Ways help. Anyone can call 211 for access to resources. We do many other things to help ALICE households, and in the future that will include public policy. We want to lend our voice to the work to lift up families who are working hard but need some help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bring it up. I just want to say thank you for all you guys do, and thank you for recognizing this wonderful, wonderful superintendent. She is great, and so I'm grateful that the community sees. So thank you so much for coming in, Dr. Cleveland. You want to?
Well, this is kind of an embarrassment because until JC, I thought this was a commendation for the United Way, and so, but it should be, and as a history in our district, we have prided ourselves as a district in being a district that gave back to the community that has given so much to us, and we didn't want to be one of those school districts that our hand was always out. We wanted to be a district that gave back, and so our United Way campaigns have allowed us to contribute back to the community, often through the United Way, but we also have many of our schools even do other things as well to give back to the community. But this is a good district because it's been a caring district and it's wanted to be part of the community. And so I can't think of a school in the district that hasn't done something special to try to help. And so, but you have been one of our best partners over many years. And the years I served on the board, I very much enjoyed that opportunity. And I hope that tradition of being a strong partner with the United Way will continue. And even, I'll just say one other thing. One time Claudia came in and she said, I don't know how it's going to go during COVID. I mean, things are really bad. And then she came back in later and said, do you know that the staff in this district stepped up in spite of that, maybe even because of that. And so it's the staff, and we have had such a wonderful staff here, and they have contributed year in and year out. And so I'm very proud of the employees of this school district who have been solidly supportive of the United Way for many years. So thank you for being such a wonderful partner, and thank you for all of the work that you do in this community that supports, just the things we heard right immediately before this presentation. The needs are great, and if we have an opportunity to help, we try to help. So thank you both so much for coming. Jeanette, it's so wonderful to see you again, and Ted, thank you so much for coming back, and again, convey our thanks to the whole board as well for the United Way.
Sure will.
Thank you. All right, our next commendation, well, we'd like to invite Dr. Kurt Schmidt because he has the next 3 commendations. Yeah, our Executive Director of Fine Arts. Our first will be the NMEA All-State.
With your permission, President Galbraith, can I do them all lumped together,
Yep.
maybe out of order? Is that?
I am okay with that. I believe Lauren Hatch is okay with that too.
Okay, wonderful. So I would invite all the students and their teachers to come forward. We have several students. Unfortunately, we have several things going on Monday nights that precluded many of the students from being here tonight, but most of them are. So come on up, and if you can form a horseshoe right in front of the board, and at the risk of being disrespectful, have your backs toward them.
It's fine. I know a lot of these students, they can put their backs to me. It's okay.
You have to make a double row. But... All right, perfect. So President Galbraith, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland, I present to you this evening for commendation many of the 75 music students who earned places in this year's All-State ensembles. I would first like to present 4 middle school students who earned spots in the 2026 New Mexico American Choral Directors Association All-State Festival. And as I read names, if you could, for all these commendations, if you could just motion in some way, raise a hand or something like that, so people know who you are. So those students for the NMACDA, and my papers are out of order. My apologies. Jason Guevara, Sofia Nieto, Alethea Nia Kiernan, and Vivian Wright. Okay, wonderful. I would also like to introduce the student's fine and dedicated teacher, Mr. Miguel Jaramillo of Lincoln Middle School. Thank you. Next, we have some of the 61 students who earned spots in the annual New Mexico Music Educators Association All-State Festival. And again, I'll read all their names, even though some of them aren't here. If we could hold our applause till the end, that'd be great. From Rio Rancho High School Band, Jeremiah Agrusa, Sarah Allman, again, gesticulate when I call your name. Lillian Brooks, Augustus Casares, Wyatt Estes, Javier Flores, Javier Flores, Dylan Harker, Chris-Ann Hernandez, Colin Jones, Kaylee Kychik, Isla Lapointe, Dylan Laurie, Brooke Masoner, Zachary McGee, Caden Montes, Braylon Mosley, Ryan Nguyen, Alan Nguyen, Trinity Peterson, Michaela Pretty, Samuel Stafford, Noel Thurman, and Joshua Ziegler. From the Rio Rancho High School Choir, Kaya Lucero, Shay Sorensen, Oliver Floyd, Sebastian Zamora. From Rio Rancho High School Orchestra, Julia Cram, Elias Gaurele, Valentina Martinez, Zachary Mori, and Carmen Velasquez. From Rio Rancho High School Guitar, Josiah Chaudhary. From the Cleveland High School Band, Aiden Blackwell, Elizabeth Cousins, Aiden Jaramillo, Daniel Lucero, Alex Magno, Joseph Morgan, Trevor Oakleberry, Justin Padilla, Nathaniel Pennington, Jordan Pritchard, Isabella Richmond, Kaylin Rodriguez, Abel Salgado, Darius Smith, Alexander Thurgood, Sophia Trappett, Marissa Trujillo, and Lily Zarate. For the CHS Choir, Melanie Bean, and probably none of these folks are going to be here because they have a concert tonight, unfortunately. So Melanie Bean, Evan Browning, Gianna Clay, Victoria Morgan, Brandon Opie, Juliet Paul, Darlene Lau, and Tiana Romero. From the CHS Orchestra, Connor Cooper, Lauren McGee. And that's all the kids, students. And those students' outstanding teachers are Mr. Daniel Salt, and if these teachers could raise their hand too, are Mr. Daniel Salt and Mr. Damon Hess, band directors at Rio Rancho High School, Ms. Rebecca Kendall, choir director at Rio Rancho High School, Dr. Zachary Bush, orchestra director at Rio Rancho High School, Mr. Jim Rivera, guitar teacher at Rio Rancho High School, Mr. Daniel Holmes, Mr. Josh Dumay, band directors at Cleveland High School, Ms. Yadira Flam, choir director at Cleveland High School, and Ms. Trista Bejarano, orchestra director at Cleveland High School. I would also like to recognize Mr. Juan Torres and Mr. William Kramer, our district percussion coordinators, and Ms. Ali Brasher, itinerant orchestra teacher, who also have had a hand in these students' development. So congratulations to the teachers. Finally, I present to you 10 students who earned places in the New Mexico Music Educators Association Jazz All-State Festival. They are Jeremiah Agrusa, Joseph Buckner, Rylan Garcia, Isla Lapointe, Ellen Nguyen, Michaela Pretty, Samuel Stafford. Those folks are from Rio Rancho Band. From Rio Rancho High School Choir, Jazz All-State, Sebastian Zamora. And from the CHS Band All-State, Darius Smith and Alexander Thurgood. Congratulations. And those students' teachers are Mr. Sam Nesbitt and Mr. Daniel Salt, jazz band directors at Rio Rancho High School, Ms. Rebecca Kendall, choir director at Rio Rancho High School, and Mr. Daniel Holmes, Mr. Josh Dumay, jazz band directors at Cleveland High School. The success of these students is, of course, due to their talent, work ethic, and dedication, but it is also indicative of the support our music programs receive from district leadership and the Board of Education, for which we remain extremely, extremely grateful. So thank you very much.
You're all done. So is it?
That's it.
That's it. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming in. You guys, this is awesome. This is a huge thing. We don't have easy classes. And so anything that you do that is anything that is extra and going places and doing things, it takes a toll on everything. And so thank you guys so much for for using your talents. I'm so grateful for all of our directors. They're fantastic. My son just recently has been taking guitar and has been loving it. And so we have wonderful, wonderful directors. Dr. Cleveland, would you like to add some things?
Again, congratulations. And so, all state means you're the best of the state. I mean, it's a wonderful recognition. And every year, Rio Rancho Public Schools sends a very large number of students who make it to all state. And we're just so proud of the recognition for you. And we're proud of the hard work that you have demonstrated to get to that point. And so I know it's a wonderful experience. All state is a wonderful experience. At least it used to be. Is it still? Pretty good. Yeah, wonderful experience. And so I'm glad you had that opportunity to go and to be recognized and to be celebrated for the work that you have done. And we're so proud of you, for you. And so thank you for coming. I also want to echo, these programs don't happen without a lot of support. And so we thank the instructors who take a lot of time and effort to get our students to this place. And then, of course, our district leadership, Dr. Schmidt, who's been just committed to excellence in fine arts over many years. So again, congratulations, and thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
I think they're dismissed.
Yeah. Parents, did you want to get a picture?
Oh,
or
yes,
anything?
pictures?
You wanted to
I'll
get a
get
picture.
out of the way.
Well, you are welcome to come up and do that. I'm like creeping in the back, so I'm just gonna. I do feel like I'm just. So quiet. Is everyone good? We get all the pictures? Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Oh, do we have some did any of the teachers or directors want to say anything? I don't want to, if you did. Okay. Were they? Our directors that are going out, are you guys want to say anything? You are more than welcome to. You sure? Okay. Like, this fulfills my school. All right. Oh, this is the sad part when it starts to empty out. It makes me. It's fine. It's fine. We really should maybe lock the doors. No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you. All right. So we'll now move into our reports. We'll start with our first, which is an audit presentation from Dahlia Garcia with Baisley, Mitchell, and Company. Oh, Heather Gabaldon as well. Do I have the names totally off on this one?
That's my fault.
No,
I thought Dahlia was coming tonight.
I'm like, that is not.
This is not Dahlia. Good evening, Board President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, and members of the board. I'm Heather Gabaldon, Interim Executive Director of Finance. And tonight I'd like to introduce you to Juan Garcia, and he was the audit manager on the audit for the fiscal year ending 2025. The audit was released by the Office of the State Auditor on February 3rd, and Juan is here tonight to present the audit report. Before I hand it over to him, I would just kind of like to describe the audit process to all of you. It really is a 5-month process beginning in June when the auditors begin asking for our preliminary financial information so that they can do some initial test work, determine which federal programs they will need to be auditing. We meet with the auditors monthly throughout the audit, so probably four times. And they came out in person, I would say 2 or 3 times this year. And when they're out here in person, they meet with staff members, they interview us, they observe us, they look at us in action to see if the internal controls that we say we have, we are actually doing those. It's really a district-wide audit. And they also meet with our HR department, our IT department to test, the security of our systems. They will meet with some of the individuals from federal programs. This year, because we opened a new high school, Rio Tech, they actually came out and took a tour of Rio Tech and observed our fixed asset internal controls. And Juan will be going over some of that in his report. So the whole audit ends and culminates in November when we have our exit meeting with the audit committee, and we go over the results of the audit. And of course, we love to hear everything that we're doing right. That's always fun and great. But we also welcome the feedback in areas that we can improve on. And so tonight, Juan will be reporting on some of that. So I will hand it over to Juan.
As Juan's coming up, all the board members, were you able to pull it up if I can have it? So, does anyone need help? Okay.
Well, good evening. How are you doing, board members? Madam President, Dr. Cleveland. My name is Juan Garcia. I'm audit manager for Beasley Mitchell and Company. As Heather said, I am presenting 2025 results. They do stem from July 1st all the way to June 30th, 2025. I want to thank management. I will start with Dr. Cleveland. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for everything you do and give us access to everybody. Heather Gobbledon as well. She's our main point of contact. She made it really easy for us to gather all the information. She helped us pressure everybody else and the other staff to get us on time, and it was all very timely and went really well. One of the reasons that we are presenting a little bit later this year, we did have our federal shutdown. We did have what we call a compliance supplement for federal awards was released a little bit later. Because of that, we did have an extension instead of November 15th, which is our normal deadline. We did have a deadline all the way to January 20th for our initial submission. Like Heather did mention, we did get it released on February 3rd and became public by February 8th. I would like to thank management and say that we did not encounter any difficulty in the audit. There was no disagreements, and we did not encounter any unrecorded statements. I'm going to go through two opinions. The first one is opinion on the federal financial statements, and the second one is on your financial statements as a whole. The ones within the financial statements as a whole, they do have a little piece on the budgets as well. Your budgets need to be in compliance, and we also offer an opinion on that. Our opinion on your financial statements is a non-modified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get. This does state that we hold no reservations, and we believe that your financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. When it comes to your single audit, it is also a non-modified opinion. The only slight difference is the federal awards are presented fairly in relation to the financial statements. I'd like to go through some items in the financial statements. We do have different presentations. One of the biggest presentations is what we call a government-wide financial statements. These are not representative to the information that you receive on a monthly basis because we do include our long-term items like capital assets. It also includes long-term debt, net pension liability, and other things that are more long-term in nature. On the fund level, which are fund financial statements, this is more representative of what you all receive on a monthly basis because we do include only about 60 days worth of accrual. Everything else is on a cash basis, cash in, cash out. We also have proprietary financial statements. These proprietary financial statements are what we consider a business-like financial funds. These funds are, I think, is a Mesa Grande, which is your daycare center. So we do present a little bit on those. Looking at your government-wide financial statements, we did have a change in net position. If this was a business, this would be your net income. And it was quite a bit of a jump of 66,158. And even we did also have a restatement of 11 million due to what we call your compensated absences. In current year, we did have a GASB 101, which required a revamp of all compensated absence recording, which included this year for you all. The biggest difference is that we had to record some of your sick leave. In prior years, sick leave was not recorded since it was not paid off at termination of your employees. But the change that the federal government decided is that if there's any estimate of the amount that might be taken, we did estimate that amount and we did record it as a liability. Because of the restatement, your ending net position on a government-wide level is 62,512,000. 62,512,235. On a fund level, we also had a change in net position. This one was a negative 3 million, leaving your ending net position of 103,897,000. For proprietary funds, those are very small, and we did have a change of net position of negative 26,000, leaving your ending fund balance of 262,713. On our opinion for the budgetary comparisons, we are only looking at a few of these budgets. We do not look at all of them as a whole. We looked at what we call all the general funds and any major special revenue fund. There were three general funds that have been broken out, and this is your operational, your people's transportation, and your local revenue operational. I am happy to report that you are in compliance with your budgetary compliance, and we did have an over budget of expenditures, and it was a very minimal, so very close. It looked very good. Next, I'd like to talk about the single audit. The way the single audit works is that we do select a few federal programs based on a risk assessment we conduct. It is mostly done on the size of your audit program, and as well as prior year audits and how long these programs have been audited in the past. Current year, we did have a special education cluster and your Medicaid cluster. These are the two programs we did report on. And as I mentioned earlier, it was a non-modified opinion on both. There is no findings related to your federal programs. We are going to be submitting within the next couple of weeks to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. Heather will help me with that, and we both kind of review the submission, approve it, and then the federal government will have a copy of this public to everybody. Next, I'd like to talk about prior year findings. We did not have any prior year findings to report. But then on the next slide, we will go through one finding of current year. This is what we call an other matters. Other matters is the lowest level of finding you can get. We do have higher level of findings, which is like significant deficiency or material weaknesses as well. This internal control over capital assets, what was the issue here was that when we went to Real Tech, the high school, there's a lot of moving parts coming in and out. There was a lot of equipment that was coming in. And one of the things that we found some equipment that did not have a tag. Now, researching some of these tags, they were able to identify which items they were. We were able to see the depreciation and all that was in order. So we didn't consider it a higher level. We just believe that maybe something as simple as a little stronger tag will really help what we call preventative controls. Detective controls were there. We were able to count the list as you all get presented your list at the end of the year. You'll be able to certify it, but we just need those preventative controls can really help in the future prevent any of these issues. The lucky thing about it, hasn't caused any issues in the past that we noted, so that's why our lower level of finding. And finally, we do have a timeline. We did have an exit conference. This was management. We did sit down with management before we submit any of these financials. They go through it, they make us any changes, they give us a little bit of feedback. After that, we do submit to the OSA, which is the state auditor's, the Office of the State Auditor, and we did submit on January 20th for that. We did have an OSA release on February 3rd, and as you all know today, we are presenting to you all of the final results. Is there any questions, comments, concerns that can help?
Any questions from anyone? Any questions on anything? Do you want to give some comments?
Just if any member of the board wants additional information or have any interest, we certainly are willing to provide that as well. So this is obviously an overview of the report, but no, if you want more information, it's available for you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we all work for the board, so we're available throughout the year for any questions and concerns.
Yeah. Do you want to talk? You've been on this committee.
I've been on the committee.
many
I was
years.
a parent community member for 5 years and then now I'm the chair of the committee. But yeah, I think we're looking for a new parent community member. So if you're out there, you're watching, or you're here, you want to participate, it's only, as Heather said, 5 months of the year. It's only 5 meetings that you have to go to, but it's very informative. It tells you a lot of the behind the scenes on what actually goes into all of the money stuff for the school. And I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do, the staff that Heather and their team does. So yeah, thank you for coming up from, hopefully you're staying the night and then driving back home tonight, are you?
Close by.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. I do want to just put out to the board that you're going to see these emails that come in and they ask, it's like an audit, like it is an audit. So they're going to ask you some questions. And so sometimes you're like, am I supposed to answer this? But just know you can always ask Heather if this is an okay email to answer, because those do come. And sometimes I'm like, oh, wait, I do actually need to look at this and answer the questions that come from it. So just be aware. When does that usually come out? I'm trying to remember.
About July.
About July. Okay, so just be aware that that will come out in July. But thank you for everyone who's helped with all of that, those who are on the committee and everything. And if you do become that parent, look at like what could happen later. You can become a member of the board. So anything further from you, Dr. Cleveland, or anyone else? Okay, yeah, we're good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I feel like we were clapping all the time, that I need to clap for everyone. I know. I'm like, everyone. Good.
Clap when they're finished.
Yeah. I know, right? Thank you. Okay. Our next report is going to be on federal programs by Suzanne Nguyen, our Executive Director of Federal Programs, and many other things.
Good evening, Madam President Galbraith, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm happy to report about our department, a little bit about our department. We have a small yet very, very wonderful, talented, hardworking team. There's myself. There is Evan Thomas, who's our Federal Programs Instructional Coordinator. We also have our District Translation and Interpretation Specialist, Erica Esperon, and Administrative Assistant, Michelle Priest. Next slide. These are the foundational priorities of our department, mainly student-centered focus. Everything we do is about how do we enrich and make the educational experience richer for our students. And also fiscal and programmatic stewardship. So I manage and oversee all the federal programs, Titles 1, 2, 3, 4, state Indian Ed, bilingual education funds, and federal Indian education funds. And lastly, but not least, compliance and alignment, ensuring that all of our programs are aligned for that greater purpose of serving our students and community. And we always champion meeting beyond the compliance requirements. So going above and beyond and making everything that we do a really meaningful and enriching experience for all stakeholders, not just checking the box to make sure that we've done it. And here we have 3 different categories, if you will, around the work that we do. The first bucket, I'll call it, is the professional learning that we support and work in close collaboration with other departments around to ensure that the adults in our system have the tools and skill set to best serve our students. And also providing direct support for our students and parents, just providing a lot of support through various programs, communication, relationship building. And then also community connection. We put a lot of time and energy into building these relationships with community agencies, entities, and our tribal partners through mechanisms such as tribal consultation and just really getting to know people and groups of people at all levels to make sure that we're engaging all voices and really responding to the needs of our community. Here, I'm happy to highlight some of our programs through different bullet points. Highlights and photos are always a great way to illustrate the great work that's going on. For our state-funded bilingual multicultural education programs, we have nearly 2,200 students in program this year. Languages represented within those programs include Spanish, French, Italian, Latin, German, American Sign Language, and Japanese. And next year, we're proud to add to that Portuguese. And noteworthy, to date, since its inception, we've granted 221 graduates with the New Mexico State Seal of Bilingualism by Literacy. And there along the bottom, you see various photos from our events like Springfest. The black and white photo is the emblem of the State Seal of Bilingualism by Literacy that gets embossed on a foil sticker, adhered to a student's diploma once they earn that distinction. Our Dia de los Muertos event, beautiful Japanese writing and drawing from our students, Chinese lanterns, just a small sampling of the beautiful, rich cultures in our community. Next. Here we have our English Language Development Program, or in short, ELD. We have a really strong, clear, precise identification process that follows federal law. In New Mexico, when a student enters kindergarten, depending on how they fill out their language usage survey, it prompts us to screen a student if they're a potential English learner, and from there, depending on the outcome, they're either identified as an English learner or not, and a similar process for other students that transfer in from either another district in the state or out of state perhaps. And then we also administer the annual access for ELL's assessment. And here on the screen, you see two charts. On the left one is the district exit rate and state exit rate data. The district's data is in the red bars from 2023, and the blue line is where the state was performing as far as students who have exited program. And in New Mexico, if they score a composite of 4.7 or greater, they've reached exit criteria, which means they're fluent English proficient. And you can see every year we exceed that of the state rate. And then on the right, in the orange yellow color, is our district progress and state progress. So Dr. Happy Miller had presented on data last time and talked about how students have within 5 years to reach that proficiency, and it's an incremental growth. So that's their growth from when they're first identified and the growth toward the exit. And you can see again, we outperform the state. Next slide. Oops. Earlier, Dr. Cleveland was talking about the rich linguistic diversity in our community, and I'll just note that that 23 plus languages was representative of the EL families or English learner families within our community. You expand that further to our entire community, and we have over 48 languages represented. So really, really culturally and linguistically rich that we're super proud of. We also provide interpretation and translation services in our district. So this is just data from last year. We met 487 total requests for interpretations. 162 essential documents were processed for translation. So just a point of clarification, interpretation is what is interpreted verbally or orally, and then translations are written. And then the scope of our work for translations and interpretations is from general education to special education, anything legal, and it also includes district-wide exams for students who are eligible for that accommodation. Here we go into Native American programs. I have 2 slides of photos for this. This first one here highlights some of the district level programs and supports that we offer. We are proud in our district to have students representing all 23 New Mexico Pueblos, tribes, and nations. And our students exceed that of the state performance rates as well. It was just too much information to share with you tonight, but all of our students are doing really well. This one here shows some school-based level support. So I'll say that our department is very small. However, we have a larger network of extended team members, and most of them are teachers or in some other capacity as their normal job contract. But then additionally, they take on additional roles and wear other hats, such as Native American liaison or ELD coordinators, bilingual coordinators, and so forth. So we have a whole network, a broader team serving all of our students. And these are pictures from some of the school-based activities and programs that they engage in. Almost last are some flyers for upcoming programs and events that we have coming out of our department. I warmly invite each of you to attend any or all of these different events. We have a parent learning series coming up, Love and Logic, facilitated by our very own principal of Joe Harris Elementary, Trent Hefner. This has been a huge success. This will be our 3rd year of offering this parent class series. We have Springfest coming up pretty soon in March. We have our annual powwow, 18th annual, believe it or not, and also our Native American Senior Banquet. And then at the bottom, I didn't mean for it to be so small, but it's hard to get all the information on as kind of a bookend or a bridge to next year, if you will, a robust offering of summer programs that we have. And lastly, I welcome any questions or comments you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to put a plug in for the powwow. All of these are so good, but last year I had that opportunity I can't remember, there was a track event that was happening at the same time. And so we walked over there and there's food vendors and we got some food and some lemonade and everyone was really jealous of that we had that and walked around and just the jewelry is out and all of those wonderful things and the performances. It was just spectacular. And so I hope so many, you truly do such a good job with all of these. And so I hope more people in our community and especially in our school community will go out and see these things. We are richly blessed with all these events that we put on. Dr. Cleveland, would you like
Well,
to share some
the
comments?
powwow is a wonderful event and it draws in a lot of people, but one of my favorites is the senior banquet. And I've attended many of them, and I think it's it's a wonderful celebration of our Native American students who are graduating, and they generally bring a motivational speaker, and then each student is awarded a piece of art. And I thought they looked wonderful, and someone told me that this particular gentleman who gives them that piece of art every year has art that hangs in the Smithsonian. And so it's really encouraging young people to reach for their dreams, and that they can do anything, they can be anything, and it's always just a very inspirational. So I've enjoyed the banquets and powwow. It's wonderful, but the point is we have a lot of events that celebrate the uniqueness of the people in this school district, and we sometimes I'm amazed when I talk to people other places. They don't realize how diverse Rio Rancho Public Schools really is. And they're shocked when I tell you how many languages we have and where all of our students have come from. But we're proud of that. And that has made our district very rich and very strong. And so Suzanne does a wonderful job in this department. She's built lots of bridges to our various communities, and always with the intent of making them feel wanted and feeling part of the district. And so I appreciate your hard work. One other thing I just want to comment on is the bilingual certificate. You want to just address briefly, I know that you take 2 classes in Spanish and you get the certificate, kind of what the rigor is that's associated with that seal.
Of course, it's a highly rigorous bar to reach. So the students have to have 4 units of credit in the same language other than English, and they have to meet all of those courses with the C average or better, as well as all of their English classes. So that's the biliteracy bilingual piece. So C average or higher in English and the language other than English. And then they also have to meet the language proficiency exam score criteria. So for example, if they're taking the AP exam, they have to score 3 or higher, which means that they're fluent in that other language.
Thank you.
I have to say, I love to see Portuguese on there. My daughter served a mission in Portugal, and I had no idea actually how many countries around the world actually speak Portuguese until she was there, and so many African countries, and of course everyone knows Brazil. But that's fantastic. I'm excited to tell her that. So we'll go to questions and comments from the board. So you're good. Okay, Michael.
Forgive my ignorance here. Do we have language immersion programs in like elementary schools in Rio Rancho?
We do have a few different program models. So we do have dual language programs at both Puesta del Sol and Maggie Cordova.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Pretty neat. Yeah.
And students may transfer to that program if they have an interest in doing so.
Are they heavily utilized? Are they full always?
They both have a waiting list. And it's the biggest challenge we have with our bilingual programs, especially at elementary, is staffing. So
You
finding
have to have the right
teachers.
person.
Right, right. But it is a program in high demand.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. I hope maybe at some point we could have another language immersion in another language for perhaps another part of the world. And so whether it would be Portuguese or whether it would be Japanese or whether it would be whatever, but it would be nice to have one opportunity for students to even choose a language from outside our own particular area.
And that is just gaining so much interest, especially at the high school level. We just don't have the capacity right now, but we want to start it at elementary. But when American Sign Language started, that just was bursting at the seams. This is Japanese first year, and they're at capacity, huge waiting list. And I expect the same with Portuguese.
My daughter has loved American Sign Language. Has loved taking that. So thank you. Anything else, Michael, on yours? Okay, Rebecca. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, and our last report for the evening is on communications. Wyndham Kemsley, our Executive Director of Communications, will present. And as he's coming up, so board, I don't know if you realize, so we're trying every year, honestly, for the board, as we try to do reports. And this is especially great as we have 3 new board members right now. So you can kind of just get a feel for all the things. Just like you're saying, like, do we have language immersion? Like there's, you don't know until you're, like, what all the things that happen in our schools. And sometimes it's interesting because Seth was just saying, like, maybe we should have like people follow us, or, they have these different programs like that, because there is so much that happens that people don't know and understand. So with that.
One other thing, we waited because we wanted the new board members to hear the report. So that's why you're kind of getting double time. Usually we spread those reports out over the entire school year. But we wanted, in this case, it was a purposeful decision to wait until the new board members came on.
So just handing it all over.
So now you've got double.
All right.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Wyndham.
All right. Good evening, President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, members of the board. My name is Wyndham Kemsley. I'm the Executive Director of the Communications Strategy and Engagement Office. I'm going to preface my presentation by saying this is the first time that I have ever introduced myself like that. I am the Executive Director of the Communications Department. That's how we go. But if you ever see anything that comes from the Communications Strategy and Engagement Office, that's us. So rest assured, it's the same thing. But to save us from, saying a lot of words that we might not need to, we just say communications. So first and foremost, I'd like to sort of outline the purpose of communications. And I know this is sort of groundbreaking, but our main purpose of our department is to effectively communicate. So basically, we take any information that needs to be disseminated to the public, to our staff, any stakeholders that we have in the district, and we do that in an effective and timely manner. And now that is kind of a broad topic that we have, where we are talking about internal communications, external communications. There's certain projects that we work on, and I'm going to introduce you to our team in the next slide here. But everybody in this department wears many, many hats, and we all exchange hats all the time. And it's just, we are very much like Suzanne's department, where we're small but we're powerful. So next slide, please. I'd like to introduce you to who's on our team. So Jennifer Smith is our executive assistant. She keeps the boat afloat, so to speak. She does a lot of budget work and really keeps the party going for us. Mr. John Longwell is our webmaster. He's in charge of the website, of the app, of our mass communication service, ThrillShare. He does a lot of online training for our staff when it comes to FormSite. He's kind of a wealth of knowledge when it comes to anything online or IT in the communications department.
Thanks for his picture, because he's always in the background. And
that's John.
I know.
That is him. I know. He's kind of our eye in the sky for board meetings too. So that is him right there. He's a very handsome gentleman. We also have Claudia Valdez, who is our special events coordinator. I'm saying this for anybody who's watching, because of course I know that everybody up on the stand knows who Claudia is at this point. She works very, very closely with the board in a lot of different events, and for all of the board meetings, she's very present, does a lot of excellent work. And then finally we have Mr. Douglas Case. He is our he's a communication specialist. And when I talk about somebody who wears a lot of hats, he comes to mind first and foremost. When he started, was doing a lot of newsletter work, a lot of graphic design, but that has since turned into videography and photography. And he's still writing a lot for the district. He still does a ton of more graphic design things. And we're just grateful to have everybody. We're honestly grateful and fortunate to have this team of wonderful folks here. So moving on to I want to talk about some of the main priorities that we have. And I will preface this too. This is sort of just scratching the iceberg with what the department does, but I wanted to consolidate it into sort of our ongoing main department priorities. And first and foremost, of course, is the dissemination of communication, both internal and external. So internal, we're talking updates from the office of the superintendent, any information from the district that needs to be out to staff members. That includes newsletters, district updates. There's policy updates that we inform our staff about. And talking points, we write talking points quite a bit for principals and for directors. And then on the external side, it's a lot of the same things, but that relate to parents and community members. So we're talking emails to parents, crisis communications we're going to touch on a little bit more, calendar and program updates. The list goes on and on. Anything that needs to be told to parents, we are in charge of that in this department. All right, next slide for me. That includes media and public relations. So part of our responsibility in the communications department is to maintain effective and positive relationships with media outlets. We want to make sure that the community at large, both in our own city community and statewide and even nationally sometimes, that we have a good reputation and that we maintain that positive outlook that we have. And that also includes responding to media inquiries all the time. And we're fortunate in the district to have a pretty robust and positive relationship with media, both local and a little bit farther out. And that is in part to the great work that is done in our department. All right, next slide for me. This kind of goes hand in hand with media relations sometimes, but of course we are also responsible for crisis communication. And so Dr. Cleveland mentioned earlier that we are in charge of the snow day messages. I never thought that I would not enjoy seeing a snowstorm come in, but it just means that I'm going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning writing the message together. And that's not a bad thing. It's part of what I do and I'm glad to do it. But man, I really do not pray for snow anymore in my life. But
Now people are going to show up at your house.
I know. I'm sorry to everybody that is listening, but no, that also extends into some emergency situations. So on the slide that I have here, if you can see that was one of the most recent crises that we dealt with was the water main break in Rio Rancho, and that fell into the communications department to let parents and students of the affected schools know immediately and let them know what the plan was and keep them updated with where we were with returning back to school when that happened. But another part of the department's responsibilities is maintenance of the crisis communication plan. And we actually have a revised crisis communication plan in the works that you will be notified about when it starts to become a little bit more real. So we'll move on to the next slide here. This is my favorite part of the job, and this is why I feel like working for the communications department for Rio Rancho Public Schools is one of the most fun jobs in the district. We get to just go out and highlight all of the amazing things that are happening in our schools. And that's both sort of spontaneous and, on the other hand, planned projects that we have. So we maintain good relationships with principals and activities directors to find out when cool things are happening, find out when they have something that they want to highlight in their schools. And we go out and take pictures and videos, and it's a lot of fun. I'm always so impressed with the talent and the drive of our students and our staff in the schools. All of the cool programs that go on. I think that it's important for myself to realize how amazing our district is, and on the other half of that coin, I get to share that with everybody, and I get to brag about the district, and it's so much fun, and everybody in our department takes part in that, whether it's going to take pictures at events that they're going to, or highlighting the cool things that are happening in the district. And another part of that, again, is planned projects. So we take the brunt of big district-wide community and school engagement projects. For example, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. I apologize for that. But the Destination Graduation video series, if you haven't looked into it, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, I'm a little biased because they're coming out of my office, but I'm telling you right now, it's next level stuff. I mean, it's some fantastic things. If you don't know, we document the lives of a handful of seniors across the district during the entire senior year. And it all culminates into, we've done 2 seasons now, but it always culminates into this fantastic final episode where you get to see all of the students walk across the stage and get their diplomas. And Not only is it a feel-good story for the district, but it's a way for the community to see what it's actually like to be a student in 2025, 2026. And it's something that not a lot of people can relate to today. So we get to shine that light on our amazing students. And that's just one of the projects that we work on. We're always continually trying to think of new ways to highlight the amazing work that our students do. One other aspect of the department is brand and digital asset management. We are responsible for the website, we're responsible for the app, for all social media channels in the district, and that is a lot easier said than done, especially in the age of the internet. We have to maintain a steady presence online, and that's another fun part. It goes hand in hand with the previous slide here, where we get to shout out our students every single day. We get to brag about our students, and it's easy in this district. So we also maintain pretty steady growth in our online avenues. So we've seen positive growth in all of our social media channels, which when a lot of people think about social media, they think like content creators, and that's how you make a living these days. Any kid wants, to be a TikTok star these days. But for us, it's just another avenue to disseminate communication to our parents, to our community. And so we do a pretty good job of keeping those up to date and relevant in today's world. All right, next slide for me. I think we're behind one. If you could skip one up. There you go. This is the last one that we have, and Claudia has a big hand in this, but we are responsible for special event coordination within the communications department. And that kind of reaches a lot of fun things, a lot of trainings, a lot of, it's a wide reaching topic, but just looking at the list here, there's a wide variety of events that we are responsible for. And I do want to point out just to illustrate this a little bit, 60% of the communications department is currently here in this board meeting and is in board meetings every single week. So that is an easy way to see kind of what something we are responsible for is. Another thing we were talking about today and with the commendations is district fundraisers. United Way is coordinated by the communications department, by Claudia. We have some fantastic life-changing fundraisers and drives. This past year, we did a very successful food drive in the district office where we collected, it was over 11,000 pounds of food for 11,700. Yeah, she knows. But it was to benefit food pantries in the city, as well as we collected food baskets for families in our district for students and their parents. So there's a lot of fantastic things that happen year round that keep Claudia very busy, but a lot of things that are very positive for the community. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions or comments that you have.
Okay. Dr. Cleveland, do you want to add anything?
Well, I just a quick comment on this department, of course, like all of our departments, is a very important one. I think one of the things that's interesting though about this one is as the school district grew, as the community grew, this department became increasingly important so that we could stay in touch with our parents, with our kids, with our staff. We have 2,500 employees, and that whole piece of communication and getting out information, because if you don't, people come up with something that's not always good. It's just people don't deal well with uncertainty and not having the information. But this is, as you can see, this department does a wide variety of things. And when they're probably the most visible is emergency situations. They have to be fast and they have to respond quickly, have to have a good plan. And Lyndon has pulled together a really good team, and they do a great job. And, when I retire, the one thing I won't miss are snow days either. So they're not the fun thing, but everyone's waiting to know. Everyone's wanting to know, are you going to have school? Are you not going to have school? And why was that decision made? And so I appreciate the department and all they do. And I hope you will look, if you haven't had a chance to look at Destination Graduation, some wonderful segments. And And they were recognized by NISPA, which is the National School Public Relations Association. And those projects come up against all the projects across the country. And it was one of the projects that they chose to recognize as really being an outstanding example of school communication. So I thank Wyndham for his, it's always, we've got something. I know every time he sees us coming, any of us, oh my goodness, we've got something else that we've got to look at. But this department is just critical in terms of communication. When we started the district in 95, this community was about 35,000 people. And today we're well over 100,000. The school district grew with it. That means it's harder to get information out across the community. It used to be pretty easy to do. Not so easy anymore. Our populations have changed. We don't have just a population. As you heard in the presentation before, we have lots of populations in this community that we need to have outreach to. And we're proud of the events. Most of the events that we have, I think, have just been so well done and represent the district well in the eyes of the community. So I just want to express my thanks for the work that they do, and it's a good presentation of all of the things that are on the plate. And there's an awful lot that's on this plate. So thank you for the report.
Yeah, I want to say thank you too. And I know that sometimes it's really frustrating when someone says, well, I want better communication and I don't know what's happening. And you're like, we put out an email and it's on our website and we put it out on social media and we like called your house. And so, so sometimes it can be, I hear those sometimes and I'm like, it is everywhere. So thank you for all of those things that you're doing to try to communicate as much as possible to our community. So we'll go to questions and comments from the board. Michael, anything?
Thank you for your diligent service. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
I do want to put one more, maybe I shouldn't put the plug out there, but I'm going to do it anyway, Wyndham. So hopefully you're okay. Is that through Dr. Cleveland, if there's things that you need, as far as sometimes we get asked questions through media or there's something controversial that happens, this department can help us as well. And so you can always reach out to Dr. Cleveland and she can kind of help navigate talking points. They'll send us talking points for things. As well as sometimes, and I used to do this with Beth all the time. I think she used to go, okay, but she said she never did that, but I'm sure inside. But I would sometimes be worried that I was going to say something that wasn't right, and it's going to get printed somewhere. And so, if you receive those things in writing, or even if someone does call you, you can say, okay, I'll get back to you, or give me a moment and we can have a conversation with the district and they can help us just to make sure that what we're saying we think is appropriate for those things. So,
and if I could, you will never bother us with questions. Any staff members, any community members, anybody that has a stake in Rio Rancho Public Schools, do not feel like you're bothering us with questions or that you're bogging us.
And truly, I know Beth wasn't.
Sounds
really
like a
bothered
challenge.
Oh, it is. I challenge you right now for everybody. No, but communications at rrps.net. If you have any questions regarding any sort of communication or anything on that topic.
I saw Kevin look at me.
Yeah.
Does she do that every time? No, not every time. But it is, these things are going out public. And so we just want to make sure we're representing right. So don't feel stressed when those things do happen. You can reach out and we can get the help that we need with that. So, and sometimes the legal department helps with that too. So anything else from the board? Anything else, Wyndham, from you? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. We do not have any public comment. Correct? Okay, unless I missed something. So we do not have any public comment for tonight. I'm just going to go through that. We'll now go to the consent agenda. If there's nothing that needs to be pulled off to talk about, we can go for a motion on the consent.
Board Member Muller, I motion to approve the consent agenda.
Board Member Murray, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we'll now move into the business part of our meeting. And I'm telling you, there are families across Rio Rancho who are really excited about this next part. They're not tuning in, I'm sure, but they are. We will now consider the approval of draft instructional calendar. Peggy Johnston, our Director of Human Services, will be presenting.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Let's do the list of important dates. That might be easier to follow along with. Thank you for asking, Claudia.
You're good because it's taking me a minute to pull it up over here too. Okay.
Perfect. Well, good evening, Madam President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, and members of the board. My name is Peggy Johnston. I'm the HR Director of Operations, and I'm here tonight to present to you the draft instructional calendars. So we do have 2 instructional calendars. In fact, we have 3. It's kind of a good news, bad news situation. We didn't have to make a new calendar for Rio Tech this year like we did for last year, but we found we had to do a new calendar for our Puesta pre-K program. They had some different days, but we have a different calendar for elementary and secondary, and that is based on the number of professional development days that the New Mexico Public Education Department allows us to count. So that's why we have different calendars. I think following along on that list of important dates that Claudia has pulled up will be the easiest way to go through it. I did want to say that I've been spending the last several months with our calendar committee, a wonderful group of people representing all of our district school locations and also our departments, and they've just been fantastic to work with. They bring back information from their sites and we talk about it together. They take information from the committee and our discussions back to their sites and bring us, their recommendations from everyone that they work with. So here's what we've come up with. Our first day of instructional staff contract will be August 3rd, and there will be 3 professional development days. That's very similar to what we've done in most of our previous years. There will be a secondary jumpstart day on August 5, and then all students' first day will be August 6. I am not going to reference the pre-K at Puesta on this list. We do have that calendar included though, if you'd like to look at it. We of course have a Labor Day holiday. Then we've got a professional development day on September 8. Probably we don't care too much about the quarters and trimesters and such, except for all the teachers and all the C&I people in the audience. And then we have another professional development day for elementary on October 7. We have 2 days of fall break, which again is following what we've done several years in the past. We've included some of our testing dates on this calendar. So we have PSAT testing on October 14. Elementary conferences again on November 2. And I'm sorry, I believe we actually pulled that day. So I think we pulled the November 2nd. Nope, we put it back in. My apologies.
So many moving parts. Right?
We do have a lot of moving parts here. That is something I wanted to point out. Our elementary calendar, if you do take a look at it, we do have 2 conference days built into the calendar for next year. In the past years, we've had 2 in November and 2 in March. This year, the 25-26 year, we tried something different. We tried having elementary conferences throughout the months of November and the month of March. And not sure, it seemed like it might not have been a great experiment. It could have just been that it was the first year and change is hard sometimes, but it didn't seem to work for all the stakeholders. So we went back to having designated conference days. So we have 1 designated conference day in November and 1 in March. That is also a change from the PED. They used to allow us to count 4 days as instructional days, and now they are only allowing 2 days to be counted. That doesn't mean that all of the conferences will happen on that day. There may be other conferences that would happen throughout the month. For example, if there were any parents that might want to do virtual conferences, they may happen at some other time throughout the month. And then we have an Election Day holiday on November 3rd, and we do have to follow that per the legislation, and that is because a lot of our district locations are used as voting locations. We have a Veterans Day holiday on November 11. Thanksgiving will be 3 days off, November 25 to 27. Two really important days on our calendar that I think get passed over a lot are these bus rider count days. Those are the only days that PED looks at to see how many children are riding our school buses. That's really important for our folks to know out in the community. If you can get your kids on the bus that day, it's a great day to get your kids on the bus. So that's why we include it on the instructional calendar. And then we have our winter break beginning on December 21st. And I did want to note that winter and spring break are aligning with APS's same dates. We will have a professional development day, the first day back after winter break, which is January 4, so no students. And then students are returning on January 5. Martin Luther King Day, of course, holiday will be the 18th. That other bus rider count day is February 10. Next year, we will be including a President's Day holiday. We've been able to include that sometimes in the past, and other times we've not been able to, so we were able to fit it into the calendar this year. That was something that we did hear a lot from our school sites, that they'd like to see that holiday put back into the calendar. I'd say probably 3 things that were really important were starting in August and not July, President's Day holiday coming back, and ending in May and not June. So we were able to accommodate all of those. Another professional development day on February 16, and then some more testing dates. Another elementary conference on March 19, which will then be followed by our spring break, which is March 22 to 26, again aligning with APS. A professional development day in April. And then we have our graduation dates, which are to be determined. I will also point out one thing that's a little different than in past years. We're not going to do an Independence high school winter graduation. We've done winter graduations in the past. They will still graduate, but they will walk with everyone. Everyone will walk together in May. And then the last day of school and the last day of the contract for our instructional staff will be May 28. So we do actually get to end our school year before the Memorial Day holiday. So that's nice. If you'd like to take a look at the Puesta pre-K calendar, I did include it. The Shining Stars pre-K calendar will follow the elementary instructional calendar. And I will stand for questions at this time.
Is that for Rio Tech? Are we going to have that put up on this as well? I'm seeing that.
Yeah, on the list of dates and then also
no,
on the
it's there.
calendar, there's no graduation TBD for Rio Tech.
So the Rio Tech students are actually, their home schools are
Okay.
Cleveland and Rio High. So they actually graduate with those home schools.
Because I know this year Dr. Johnson's doing a graduation for them. Is that different?
Sure, absolutely.
Come on down.
He's like, let me tell you.
Well, no, that's.
Come on up.
I love you, but Rio Tech does have their own graduation.
Well, all right.
So, and we do need to add that. We need to add the Rio Tech date on there. Thank you for finding that.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Renee, would you kind of address the shift this year for, this year we followed CNM's calendar. Next year, that will not be the case. Could you just share a little about that?
Yes, we had a few issues following a different calendar. For example, during spring break, when Rio Tech was in school and the rest of the district wasn't, there was no transportation for the students. Security, we had to work something out. The nurses, we had to work something out. So the days that they were in and the rest of the district was out, caused some problems. So what we're going to try this upcoming year, they're going to follow the schedule that Rio Rancho Public Schools does, and the kids are in college. So if we're on spring break and they have college classes, they've got to get to their college classes. On the reverse side of that, if there are high school classes and there are no college classes, they can come in late or leave early. So we're going to kind of open up that campus a little bit, but we are going to follow the Rio Rancho Public School calendar for the high school portion of the school.
Have we received any feedback just from students or anything on that? I'm just kind of, I guess we'll see at the end of this next year and how that goes.
It'll probably be kind of like it was this year, where during spring or during like when was it? During fall break, I guess, we were like, wait a second, there's no transportation for these guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We all knew there'd be some changes after the first year. We would learn through this year, and we've learned quite a bit. So I think the changes will work much better next year.
I'm hopeful. Yes. And we're going to get those dates as soon as possible. We've submitted them to Rio Rancho Events Center, and I'm just waiting to hear back. They're okay for the dates for graduations for the 2 comprehensives, and then we'll just kind of build on all the other ones from that.
They hang on until the very bitter end because they are trying to balance their concert schedules. And we understand that's their money making, that's their business. But we are always really eager to get those dates so that our families can make their plans as well. But we're lucky to have the center, and we very much appreciate working with the city to be able to use the event center.
Okay.
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah.
So that's what you will see. The only things that are still to be determined then will be those graduation dates, and we'll get that Rio Tech graduation also on there as well.
Okay. Other questions or anything from you? Questions on this side of the table?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can you describe the committee process for
Sure.
working with a little
Yeah.
bit more detail?
So I send out an email to all principals and executive directors in December, and I ask for nominations for the committee. Some folks will nominate one person, some folks will nominate 2 or 3 from their site. So we try to get as many as want to. We'd like to have as many voices as we can. We also have a union representative who is on the calendar committee as well. And then we have folks who maybe have a different sort of stake, not so much in setting the calendar, but they need to know. For example, April, who works with our Power School, she's our Power School administrator. She needs to have a good idea of what's happening with the calendar kind of, firsthand. So she's not necessarily there to give her opinion on things, but she does want to see what's happening with the calendar.
Are the nominations principally staff members then on the committee?
Yes, yeah, they are. I have had some members of the public who have reached out to me in the past and asked to be on it. We absolutely welcome that if they would like to. It's not something that we put a call out for, but we do absolutely welcome anybody who'd like to come. Yeah.
And I don't know about the number one question I asked is like, can I be on a committee for the calendar? And that's, they don't care if there's lions in the school. They just want to know what the calendar is. So
Right.
I don't know how we would accommodate that, but just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, and we can definitely look at that. That's something our calendar committee considered a few things. Dr. Cleveland had brought up the idea of, I'm not sure if any of you are aware of this, but APS is putting out a survey to their community for their 27-28 calendar year of whether they would like to start the traditional start date or start a couple of weeks later. And so we were talking about, would we like to do that? So we're considering some of those things and involving the public a little more.
It goes a week into June, just putting that.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you start later, you got to go later.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And Dr. Cleveland and I were just talking about this. You might have some thoughts on this. We were just talking about this.
Well, it's I hope that the public realizes in the process is that we are greatly constrained with the calendar by state regulations. And it's not like in some other places where each district just kind of comes up with their own calendar. We're locked in for a lot of reasons, the number of days, the number of hours, but also some of the testing and some other things. So there may be a little flexibility with the calendar, but there's really not a lot. And so it doesn't vary much from year to year. I'd be very interested to see what APS gets back in terms of starting later and how folks feel about going into the middle of June or early June. I'm sorry, early of June. I think it was June 8th. Our experience in the past is you can have school after Memorial Day, but unless there's finals, they won't come. If there's finals, they'll come because they need obviously take their tests and whatever. But we find even at the elementary level, very few families bring their children back after Memorial Day. So we can have it, but I'll just be real interested in seeing what the Albuquerque parents have to say about a late start.
I am really curious too. I saw it come out and I'm like, I want to see what this.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Michael, and you? Rebecca, any thoughts? Okay. I have to agree. I think that's the biggest thing is, and a lot of people don't understand. I think that's the biggest thing we get as a board is like, why is the calendar this way? And it's like, there's not really much we can. In the past, we used to have a little bit more leeway with it, and we really just don't anymore. I don't know if that looks like, if that could change with a different administration. I don't know if is that something that could change possibly I don't know.
There's been some discussion of giving some powers back to local boards, and that's one of them is the calendar. So, but with that has to go the number of hours that were required in order to get full funding. And, there could be a lot of changes. There generally are when you get a new administration. So there might be some additional changes there, but I don't think it's going to be all that much.
And then I guess I have one more question. I know, so last session we were trying to make movement with those professional development days. I don't think we saw anything it was a short session. Is there any whisperings that we're going to try again for that in next, I know it's a year away. I'm looking at Lauren. He's kind of shaking his head over there too. So,
this year was not a year for that kind of policy. It was a 30-day session, but we are committed. Lauren has talked about, we're going to go back hard again next year. He's already made some contacts with LFC to have that conversation to try to understand why they were really so opposed to it, because we think maybe some of the assumptions were the same as ours. And but we do need to get that discrepancy between elementary and secondary fixed. It's really not a fair, it's not a fair situation. Also, every year we still get, and I still get, a good number of folks who would like us to look at a balanced calendar year round. But there are lots of issues with that, particularly related to extracurricular. And so I think everyone felt like they did not want to take that task on at this time, but we do still have every year a good number of folks who say, have you looked at a balanced calendar? So maybe that's something for the future. I don't know.
Yeah, Las Cruces has had some success with it. I think at first I didn't like it, but they seem to have settled into it. Though when I sat down with some coaches, just some of my kids' coaches, and asked them about it. They were concerned as far as it goes with sports. It does make it really, really difficult, and I'm sure with a lot of other programs too. So, any other comments from the board? Anything else, Peggy, from you before we go to a motion? So we can go for a motion on this calendar.
Or can we do all three at the same time?
Yes.
Board Member Morrell, motion to approve the 26-27 school year elementary school instructional calendar, secondary school instructional calendar, and the Puesta del Sol pre-K instructional calendar.
Board Member Barry, second.
Motion and a second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, I think I get questions starting in January, usually on the calendar. I think maybe even before then.
It's a tough job, and Peggy does a great job pulling it together, but the committee does work really hard to try to balance everybody's needs. And it's just not an easy job to sign up for.
Yeah, no, for sure. So thank you. As far as advanced planning goes, so we have another special work session that will be coming up on the 9th, and then our regular scheduled board meeting. Audit committee is starting back up on the 16th with a special board meeting. We have a work session on the 23rd. So we have just a lot of meetings that are coming up. Also with this, as we're going into March, we'll have Dr. Dodd will be joining us starting March, I think March 1st really is his start date. So he'll be here with us as well as Dr. Cleveland. And if you look there on the end on March 31st, there's a New Mexico School Board Association region meeting. This one will be held in Grants, New Mexico. They're part of our region, so it's a little bit further out, but that is good training. And if we can drive together, if people want to go out to Grants, they're actually, I really enjoy sitting with their board. They're really enjoyable to sit and talk with and such. So that will be out in Grants. One last thing on the calendar, I just want to bring up coming up. So I was asked this question, and it's just probably easier. So we have all these graduations and a lot of dates that are coming up, and kind of the question is what you need to attend and what you don't need to attend. If you can attend the graduations, that is by any, there, especially our big, all of our schools are important, but our big ones, it's a lot for one of us to try to do all of those diplomas. So if you can be at the graduations, please be at the graduations. There's some other date sets around that we do, like our teacher recognition. Those are really important for us to be at. There's some different dinners. It's great if you can make it out to those ones. If you can't, that is okay. I'm trying to think of other ones that are coming up that we might need to.
Well, we have at Rio Rancho High has the Phoenix Dinner, which has been sponsored every graduation since the beginning, and the first graduating class in '99 by Chalmers Ford. It recognizes the top graduates of Rio Rancho High, and then they also have something called the Phoenix Dinner that recognizes students who struggled the most and overcame that adversity and graduated. So it's the two very different groups of kids, both wonderful, and those the board is invited to those if you have an interest in attending. But the staff really, the staff recognition mainly is our staff at each building is being recognized, but mainly it's our retirees, and it's always a very nice event if you can attend. To honor their years of service.
And it's a good opportunity just for the staff to be able to see you. And it's an opportunity where you can actually greet, staff from a lot of different buildings. So that's a really good one. I do want to bring up that there's a good chance, well, I'm not going to probably be able to make Cyber Academy's graduation this year. So just kind of keep that on your radar that we'll need someone to speak. Probably we'll go to the VP. So we can talk more about that though. So
yeah, the only one is for Rebecca and I was Independence High because it's the afternoon of Cleveland, and both of us have seniors
graduates.
at Cleveland. But other than that, I think at least I'm planning to be at all the other ones.
Okay.
That would be the only one I'll miss.
Okay, so that's good. I just wanted to get any other questions on just any upcoming. I know there's a lot that's coming up, so I'm sorry to everyone that we had to stick around for a second, but just things that needed to be dealt with real quick.
Get a little bit of a break in the summer.
Yes, it's true. It is true. Okay, we are adjourned for tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. When are you going to?